All right, we're back. We're going to talk about the Toronto Blue Jays. A huge move, of course, a couple days ago, requiring in that 12-player deal some great names and some great arms. Of course, Johnson, Burley, the two pitchers that we're referring to. And, of course, they finally announced their manager, John Gibbons, came out of left field, as you would say. I did not see this coming. Obviously, they had two other guys in mind, Riggleman, of course, and Jim Tracy. Those guys were not picked. But look at Gibbons' record. In the 5 seasons he was with the Toronto Blue Jays, he has a better record, actually, winning percentage than both Tracy and Riggleman. He's at .500. He went .305 and .305. Led the Jays to an 87-win season back in 2006. Second behind the New York Yankees. And later, well, that year, actually, in both in 06, Cardinals won the World Series with 83 wins. So if you think about it, if the Jays were in the NL, they would have an easier time. But what can you say about John Gibbons being hired? First of all, let's talk about that.
Surprised, shocked. There was very little rumors of who was going to be hired as manager, even after the big trade and the possible signing of Milky. All of a sudden, John Gibbons comes out of nowhere. And it sounds like they pursued him. He didn't pursue them. So I don't know. I wasn't a big fan the first time around. Maybe he can turn things around the second time around.
Clearly, this is Alex's buddy here. And the man is passionate about baseball. And it makes you wonder why they even put out those two guys previously, the two managers, Riggleman and Tracy. Did those guys even were in the talks? I don't even know. But Gibbons, I mean, as you mentioned, he did lead the Blue Jays to a second-place finish, which is pretty big in the AL East, obviously. And that's something that has only happened once since '94. So, I mean, and he had a similar mix of players as well. He had the mix of star players that came in, and he kind of tried to gel a locker room together. And he is a very passionate man, and hopefully he can keep everybody on the same page.
He is passionate, and on that aspect, he can go a little over the top and be a little aggressive. Of course, he's known as a player's coach, but I don't think you'd say that to guys like Dave Bush, Ted Lilly, Shea Hildebrand, or Frank Thomas, for that matter. He is a fiery guy. Maybe the second time around he's kind of calmed down. But do you think he might have the same issues with egos? Because I know you say Jose Reyes, right?
Yeah, you look at, they always talk about, any sport there is, the hardest team to coach is a team that is full of stars. The Jays, all of a sudden, after that trade with Florida, they're pretty star-studded lineup, and that is a hard lineup to manage for the simple fact you got a lot of egos, and it's tough to tell every player to check your ego at the door. So these players, yeah, you kind of have to treat them with kid gloves. I don't know John Gibbons has kid gloves.
Hey, I want to actually get to this real quick because I know you are, as a Jays fan as well, excited for this deal. You had 12 players involved in this. You bring in a guy like Jose Reyes, Bonifacio, Johnson, Burley, John Buck coming back second time with the Toronto Blue Jays. A lot of hype around this, very reminiscent of 1991 when they were comparing the trade with San Diego when they got Joe Carter and Roberto Alomar that kind of set them up the year later. Is this a move very similar in terms of what you're getting in terms of players, that impact type guys?
This definitely takes the Blue Jays into consideration for the division. It's a tough division. You have to believe that the Red Sox aren't going to be as bad. I'm not sure about the Orioles and Rays. I don't know if the Orioles can repeat. The Rays, competitive team. Yankees will always be competitive. It's going to come down to injuries. Maybe a pitcher will come out of nowhere. Romero bouncing back. There's so many issues here. Do the Jays have a chance? They have a chance now. Before the trade, not so much. Now they have a chance.
Yeah, it's a game inside the game right now in the American League East. So the Jays made these trades. The Jays are going to make a big signing too. All of a sudden, it's a Yankees and Red Sox turn to step up to the plate and see what they do. And don't you think the Yankees are going to step up? And they're an aging lineup. The Red Sox are an aging lineup. Maybe they're going to make a trade or two or a free agent signing.
All right. Well, you know what's interesting as well, the 91 comparisons, not quite 92, but remember, 92 they picked up Dave Winfield and a guy named Jack Morris, an excellent pitcher. Well, look at the pitchers who are free agents in 2014. You have Clayton Kershaw, Felix Hernandez, and of course Justin Verlander. So interesting to see them in Blue Jay uniforms, say in 2 years' time. But let's move on to the Florida Marlins, or the Miami Marlins. Still not used to the name, but neither are the fans or that ballpark, and they are really unhappy out there, city officials and fans alike. You put all this money and invest in a team, And now they go from one of the highest payrolls in baseball, or at least the highest they've ever had, to now down to less than Oakland A's level at $34 million is what they're projected for this season. That is a big drop from about $100 million close to I guess this season ago. So guys, what would you say if you're a Florida Marlins fan or Miami Marlins fan here?
Well, you think they'd be used to it. They continually do this. They give fans hope and then they take it away. But then again, it has worked for them to some extent because they have won 2 World Series. They built a beautiful palace. They can't fill it. It's more of a club, if anything. It's really unfortunate times, but I think they develop players well, and I'm sure in a couple of years they'll be back to competitive level. But that being said, they did have an opportunity. They had a window. It didn't mesh. You got to rip it apart.
Jays players, or the Jays, or what they got in return from the Jays, they're not bad. They're solid prospects, right?
They're prospects, though. They're not names, though. That's the big thing. More than anything, they begged the city of Miami to build this ballpark for us. Build it, build it, build it. Taxpayers' monies went into that ballpark, and all of a sudden, it's a totally different team from the first year when they were in that ballpark this past season to what it's going to be when they hit the field in the fall.
Well, they were losing money, of course, their projections, so the logical thing is reduce the payroll and maybe make up something of that. But I don't know, it seems a little frustrating from that standpoint. Like you said, they're used to it. That's what Laurier's done before in the past with the Expos and with the Marlins. He did come out with a World Series championship one year, however, when he did that. So take that into consideration. Would you be patient, or would you just say, you know what, let's move on?
Yeah, you know what, I guess they have to be patient. They've been done through this before. What are they going to do? You hope that maybe they're going to make a few free agent signings. They do have money now. It'll be interesting to see how Florida responds after these trades.
Well, with that being said, they are prospects, but these are prospects that are ready to play. You could put them in your lineup tomorrow, and we'll see what happens for them.
All right, we're going to take another quick commercial break. We'll be back with Over Under next.